few things about me: stubborn, inexperienced, and ambitious. Deadly combo. Caused a lot of problems, as you'll see. So anyway, so I spent 4 days in Edmonton. Finally, get a golf. Paperwork's a mess because Alberta to BC transfers, blah blah blah. But I do what I think I need to do after talking to ICBC, and I don't have any plates either because they got lost in the crash. So it was another complication. And I'm like, I'll get this car to Cranbrook in BC or Golden or something like that, and then I'll flip it over to BC insurance, the insurance I had on the other Golf at that point. So I'm in Edmonton chilling, blah blah blah. Didn't have time to see anybody. Got the car after 4 days. Went to Calgary. Saw my buddy Tim, which was awesome. Hadn't seen Tim in like 10 years. Used to make music with him and stuff. He's still making music. He's awesome. So chilled with him in Calgary. Didn't have a chance to see anybody else. Got the car fixed up a bit, and then had to drive to BC through Banff. And that was the most sketched out road I've ever been on my life at that time of year. Like, I'm pretty much never driving in the Alberta mountains in winter ever again, unless I have like a Hummer with like studded tires. I was like so sketched. Like, it was just horrible. But I made it, and it felt so good after I got to Golden, which was still winter mode, to head down to Cranbrook, and the road was clear. Even though it was a 2 I was just like, oh my god, this feels good. So I got to Cranbrook and had to spend 3 days in Cranbrook because of the insurance stuff. Registration. The Alberta guys had a different philosophy than the BC guys. Just took a bunch of time, and I had to get the vehicle inspected, which ended up being a bunch of money too. So blah blah blah. After 3 days, I got out of Cranbrook. I have some awesome photos of deer crossing the road in Cranbrook. Yep. And then I headed down to Spokane. Stayed there. And then I went Spokane to Seattle, and sure enough, on the way Spokane to Seattle, I was like, oh, roads are dry. I can go fast. Woo! Boom! Pulled over by a USA cop. And first thing he knocks on my door, he's like, tell me why I shouldn't throw you in jail. And I was like, oh God. Oh God. So I just said to him, I was like, I'm sorry. And he's like, it's like, you're going, he's like, in the States, I don't know what county, he's like, in the States, 20 over is considered aggressive driving. You're going 31 miles an hour over the speed limit. Why? And I was like, right away was like, I'll use the kilometer mile thing. I was like, I don't know, as we have kilometers in Canada. He's like, yeah, but you have speed limits. So as he goes back to his car, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I didn't think he was going to throw me in jail or impound my car, but, you know, it's like, oh, it's going to be like a $500 fine or something, because that's what the penalty would have been. It would have been $500 or $600 fine for that aggressive driving thing. So he came back, he's like, no, I'll give you a break, I'll give you the lowest thing, and it was still like $287. I was like, well, what the hell, right? But it's like, thank God. Okay, so from then on, drove slow for probably about a week or two. Got to Seattle, stayed at a hotel there. I think that was Thanksgiving, so I couldn't even get dinner. Like, it was just whatever, but no big deal. Then from Seattle, I went down to Portland and stayed with another buddy, Tim from university. He was on my track team, and that was totally cool. They have like the raddest pit bull mastiff dog ever. Totally chill. They got a kid on the way. It was awesome to be in Portland, like, and just kind of like, people are awesome people, and like, even though Portland's a bit rainy, it's not really my zone. That was a rad sort of deal. And then I stayed there for a couple days, and then I headed over to Bend, Oregon, to see my buddy Taylor, who I didn't really think I would end up running into on this trip, but Tim was like, no, you should check it out. So got to Bend, and Bend was like total Flagstaff mode. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. Bend's at like 4,000 feet in Oregon. Awesome zone. Pretty, I think, trendy right now, but so awesome. And sure enough, like, day 2 being in Bend, I get strep throat. And it's like the death throat, though. Like, it was like the worst. I was like, I've never been that sick in my life, even though I had mono. So I stayed there for like 5 days, just like dying. And I'm so glad they were just like, yeah, you can die here. That's cool. There's a bedroom. Just die. They didn't say that, of course. They were like concerned about me. But yeah, I went to a doctor, got some antibiotics after a couple of days, and they gave me 7 days. I think in Canada they usually give you 10. But I guess I felt better. So after about 5 days or so in Bend, maybe 6 days, I took off, and my next stop was going to be, where the heck was I staying? I had to get to California, so I stayed in Redding, California, in a hotel, and that was okay. And then headed down to the Bay to see my buddy Mike Fontaine, who I haven't seen since high school, and that was amazing. That was so cool. Like, the North Bay was just like, I don't know, like Shuswap Tofino version of the Bay, like all these like little sort of like wooden surfery type houses, and just like wineries everywhere, and I got to go to this redwood forest on this bike that totally broke my ass, but I rode there and rode back, and that was cool. And then I went to this Bodega Bay beach. I'll show you some clips of that. And that was unbelievable. Just walked the beach. There's surfers surfing, awesome sunset, whatever. I ended up babysitting their girl Raya for a couple days, and it was just cool just to kind of decompress, be there, just chill out. Bay's beautiful, man. Most beautiful sunsets. It's rad, and yeah, good people all around. Just it was awesome. Seeing Mike after that long was like the wickedest thing ever. And I'll probably go down to his dive shop in Costa Rica if I don't burn out on this trip this time next year. Is when I'll do it, I guess.